So let's talk about Victor Oladipo and the Indiana Pacers, who made some news because Jimmy Butler said some things about TJ Warren. The Pacers also got blown out in that game by Miami, but Indiana's good. They're better than I thought they would be. I thought the combination of Oladipo being gone, the awkward fit of Sabonis and Turner, and questioning how good Brogdon and TJ could be, being the number 1 and 2 dudes in the offense. They are the 6th seed, which is technically what I predicted before the season, but I didn't think they'd be 8 games over 500 at this point, and looking pretty damn alright, even if they haven't been as great lately. So Oladipo is going to come back January 29th against whoever. And at that point, the Pacers will have played, I believe, about 48 games. Yeah, 48. And if we look at their schedule leading up to that game, it's kind of up and down. There's some easy games in there. You would assume. They're playing the Warriors in Golden State, but even so, Pacers are definitely the better team. They've got the Knicks right after the Oladipo hopeful return, which I think can still kind of count. And then between the Blazers, Jazz, Nuggets, Wolves, twice, Sixers, Suns, Nuggets, it's up and down, you know. So let's say they're basically where they're at right now once Oladipo is back, which is 8 games over 500? Okay, 8 games over 500, 4.5 games out of the 2 seed, 2 games out of the 4 seed, neck and neck with Philly for the 5th seed, comfortably above the Magic and whoever else, 6 and below. Okay. At 48 games, that would give Oladipo, 34 games to get back. Now, he's probably not going to play all those. Who knows if they're going to be on their load management stuff with him or what the deal is, but should we be confident that Oladipo is going to be 100% Oladipo by the time the playoffs begin? I have a tough time getting there, but there's also no real way of determining that. The dude has been out for quite a while, but it can be iffy. We saw Kawhi have problems with the quad all the way throughout the playoffs. He was still playing really well, but the dude was having problems just walking sometimes. We saw Gordon Hayward need an entire season to get back. Different injuries, I know, but still, the lower body, it's like a chain of events. One thing goes wrong, and then suddenly something else can go wrong. We saw way back with KD, not the Achilles, although maybe you could apply the Achilles to it because he had that injury right before it, but even way back with OKC, there was something wrong, and then it led to a foot injury, so the lower body stuff can always just be really weird. And while we are, of course, hopeful that Oladipo can be back, there's a chance something else could go wrong 15 games into him being back from this initial injury. But if we can live in a world in which he's ready to go for the postseason, then how good does Indiana become? Pretty damn frightening as someone who is a fan of an Eastern Conference team, because suddenly you're looking at a team that just has a lot of stuff, because Brogdon has elevated himself into being a guy who can create more offense for you. He has perhaps cooled off a little bit from earlier on, but the dude's definitely proven that he has another level to get to. TJ Warren, when he's not caught up in Jimmy Butler things, has been pretty alright. He had 36 against the Hornets for the season overall. It's a solid, 18 a game. His threes have not taken another jump from last season, but they're still a lot better than what they were early on in his career. And the Turner-Sabonis thing, I do think it's a bit of a night-to-night thing with that, where sometimes it looks better than other times. In the last 10 games, those two have averaged about 18 minutes a game together. The team has a net rating of +6. It's pretty okay, if you ask me. Even so, I can picture that pairing being awkward in the playoffs against a good team. If we look right now, crazy enough, in round 1, the Pacers would play the Celtics, which makes me already terrified if Oladipo is going to be 100%. But I could also picture the Celtics finding ways to make that pairing awkward, where they're daring one of them to shoot or whatever. Now, of course, you could argue the Pacers may be able to bully the Celtics a little bit if it's one big versus two bigs, but I do think it's just going to be a chess match, the Sabonis-Turner thing, and I think it's going to be a process all the way until the Pacers lose or they pull off some crazy NBA Finals run. But Oladipo being in the mix of all that makes it a bit easier, because if you have a lineup that's Oladipo, Brogdon, insert one of their players that's not Turner or Sabonis, TJ, and then Turner or Sabonis, that is still a pretty damn respectable five out there with 3 ball handlers. And, Sabonis is more of an offensive big than Turner, but still, that's a lot of stuff. So, with Oladipo not there, then it gets a little tougher, because then it's Brogdon and TJ, and, these are the things that I was thinking going into the season. The Pacers proved me wrong, but I do still think if it was the playoffs and Oladipo wasn't there, it'd be a lot tougher. But, again, if he's going to be that guy, then okay. I don't know if I have anything else. I basically just said if Oladipo's good, they'll be good. If he's not good, then it's going to be tough. And I managed to stretch it out to 6.5 minutes. Being a YouTuber 101. Yeah, could Indiana make any sort of move? I guess that's an idea, which is something I think I have brought up already. Once again, being a YouTuber. Okay, so if we're living in a world where Oladipo is totally good to go, then I guess the rotation in the playoffs is Brogdon, Oladipo, TJ, Sabonis, Turner, because they're committed to those two starting together. And then off the bench, you're going to Jeremy Lamb, who's been solid this season, Justin Holiday, who has been making threes, and, well, sometimes it's all you need to really do. And then Doug McDermott's been making threes. That's 8 guys. And then you hope just between TJ McConnell playing some backup guard and whatever else that you can put together a pretty respectable 8-9-man rotation. I don't think they're too far off, really. I guess if they really wanted to make some sort of a move, we have heard the Drew Holiday rumors. The only thing with that, though, is assuming they wouldn't trade any of their top guys, that means somebody would be getting pushed to the bench. But then again, they'd probably have to trade Turner to even get a guy like Drew, so I don't know. Maybe some sort of an offensive option off the bench. That's about all I really got for you. Like TJ McConnell. I like TJ, plays his role well, but maybe you'd want a guy who could just make threes in that spot. That's all I got on the Pacers. It's all pretty much riding on Oladipo, man. I think they can remain respectable until he comes back, and then if he's ready to go, then yeah.